I want to get started. It's already 9:06. So
Yep.
we are going to talk about a lot about intention and gaps in our process. That's what this call is going to be focusing on. So in our bigger thread right now, we talked about what intentions are you going to have for your business this month. But I'm going to ask for permission from all of you guys to really break down so we can break it by week so that you know what your intentions are each week to lead to the end results. Because I think that's a problem in our system is that we're like, okay, by the end of the month, I want to go gold or silver or whatever. And we don't break it down so much that it's clear and we know exactly where we need to be by each Friday or each Saturday or whatever that looks like. And so, Joya, I'll give you as an example because you're right here. But let's say Ruby this month, right? So we know the
Right.
numbers, it's breaking that down where you ended last
Yeah.
month and break that down to where you need to figure out, okay, where am I at this week? And where did my points need to be by Saturday? Okay, well, these are the things that'll get me to those points by Saturday. Hello, Rachel. And what does that look like? So, Rachel, we just started. So, pretty much we're breaking down our intentions each week. And I'm going to be in our thread really getting validation and permission from you guys to really stick and help you stick to those, to be like, okay, Cassie, I am signing 3 people this week. And then I'm going to be reaching out and being like, okay, Julia, how's those three signups this week? And it's not like, well, I haven't felt like it, or, XYZ happened or whatever. It's like, no, like you asked for my permission to be able to help coach you and get you those results. So let's figure out, like, how are your reach outs looking? And you're like, well, I haven't really reached out or whatever. So it's mainly like, I want to be able to have that relationship with you guys to really hold you accountable to hitting your goals at the end of the month. So you're not quitting by the middle of the month. Does that make sense? So like right now, a lot of us are like, I might have shot a little too high on my goal. So let's just lower that so that I then don't feel like I failed. Right. And so usually by the end of the month, that's what happens. But our problem is our gaps in our process. And we're going to be talking about that here in a minute too, of really breaking down what your weekly goal is and then allowing me to help you hold yourself accountable to those. A lot of our gaps are the 2-part conversations. And that looks like what? When I say 2-part conversation, does anybody know what that means?
When you talk to them about, I want to make sure you understand that I never want finances to get into the way of your health. So if and when you are ready to approach that, we can talk about how you referral program to be able to help you with that.
Get your products covered. Yep. So that's the
Yep.
2-part conversation. And that's something that we should be making sure that that's not a gap we're missing. That is a conversation you're having right when people sign up. The next is pivotal. Today, the percentage is 2% of people right now even know what pivotal are when they're signing up. And so we're missing that opportunity. We're making our job harder. Like, you guys are working so hard. Like, I know you are, but we're making it harder when we're not giving them every tool that they can have as they sign up. So that's why we're losing customers so quickly. Our team is not having a good retention lately. And so it's really finding those things like, where's our gaps then? And so our gaps are, we're missing pivotal, hands down. And so it could be in our team pages like, oh my gosh, did everybody see the recipe from last week? Who tried the recipe? Oh my gosh, those squats are burning my thighs right now. Who did the squats the other day? And things of that, so that then they're like curious and they're seeing all of the things that are happening in Pivotal because we are just as excited about it too. And so those are our 2 biggest gaps. And then the other is having people come to the Welcome to Plexus call. So next, I know I keep repeating this, but when is our Welcome to Plexus calls? Just curious.
Wednesday nights.
What time?
6 p.m. At 5.
5. It went down. Yep, 5. I had 6 in my head for so long, but it's actually 5 o'clock. And that's why I've been missing them lately, because I'm like, I've got to get my time. I'm still on the different time zone, 6 o'clock. But it's at 5 o'clock, which is better because we're tapping into people way before church. Yeah, way before church.
Yeah.
And it's 15 minutes. And so that conversation can be like, if I just signed Rachel up, I'm like, oh my gosh, Rachel, I'm so excited. There is a call just for you tomorrow to welcome you to our amazing company and our products and everything. So this call is just for you, and it's only going to be a short 15, 20 minutes. Can I send you that link for that? I would hate for you to miss it. Super simple. So those are the gaps we're missing. We're not helping people see the bigger picture of our incredible company and what all we have to offer. So inviting people to the very next thing. And if they're like, oh my gosh, well, I can't make it at that time, I'm at work or whatever. The next thing is, does everybody know where to find the recordings for those calls? I need to turn off Facebook or it's going to keep dinging in the background. Anybody but Julia, who knows where to find the recordings for the Welcome to Plexus calls? Anybody?
I feel like I did at one point, but I don't remember now.
Hey, that's okay. Okay, so when you log in and your dashboard, you're going to see a big red thing that's been there forever and you probably missed it. It says training. When you click on that training, it's going to pull up a calendar. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, see this big red button right here, big red training?
Ooh, they have the national thing.
They do, but it's not all correct yet, so don't look at it completely. I've heard the numbers are not up to par, so just wait a minute. Okay, so when you click on that, you're gonna hit the English, and then every recorded call is clickable here. Every single recorded call. So Angie, one of the Jules that is always doing coaching with Carissa and us and is on Jessica Heffley's team, she's leading tomorrow's Welcome to Plexus call. And she already knows how much that I grind it into our team. And she's like, okay, Cassie, I need to know what wording you use and how you're getting your teams on them, because I have to lead the call tomorrow. And so you don't want to miss this call to invite your brand new people to, so that they don't miss that. So again, know that all these are clickable. So if they miss that, say, oh, don't worry, Angie, or don't worry, Rachel. I can grab you that recording if that's okay. Or I can grab you that recording so that you don't miss out. I'll send it here once it's done. Make sure to follow through and send that as well right after. So that's where you find recordings for the Welcome to Plexus calls or any call whatsoever. Okay. So those are the gaps that we're missing right now on keeping customers. Bob Heilig, I really liked his, if you don't follow him on Instagram, he's a really great one to follow. He did something that I absolutely loved about customer care. And remember how we talk about the cherry on top on what can we do differently for our customers? He talked about how instead of sending a sample to somebody that's brand new, like something else they haven't tried, he's like, what if you took 5 minutes and looked on their Facebook and you noticed their son loves Legos, and you send a little Lego and say, hey, this is for Johnny. I just wanted to say thank you. He's like, that's going to mean way more than you sending a sample of another product they haven't tried, because you took the time to really dive in to figure out what their interests are or what's in their family or what they might love or like. He's like, you can send a sample still. Like you can send a sample, but then like, and hey, I also included, something for Johnny. I saw that he loves Legos. I hope he enjoys this. Thank you so much for your business or your purchase, whatever that is. I thought that was powerful. Just a few minutes of seeing what your customers, what their life looks like, and sending them something very simple and sweet in the mail. Okay. So anybody have questions? Oh, last question. Plexus perks. When a brand new person signs up, how much Plexus perks do they get with a welcome pack?
250.
250. Yep. Which equals what?
$25.
$25.
Correct. Look at y'all. I love it. Okay. So good. That's another thing we're missing in our gap, is allowing people to understand as they sign up, I almost have gotten to where I do not sign people unless they're going to give a 60 to 90 day commitment. And I want to be able to help our customers in a way that I'm just not here for a sale. None of us should be. We should be here for helping people with lifelong journeys. And so when somebody's like, well, I'm just going to try it for a month, then they're a retail. Be like, you know what? Well, actually, let's do retail first then, because I would hate for you to, do this and lose all these perks and lose all these things and benefits that if you're not ready for yet, let's just go ahead and do this first and do retail. But I think if people know what they're all gaining by truly giving these products a chance, that might keep them longer. And so really letting people know about the subscription and keeping that subscription on, and knowing that every person that keeps their subscription on, they earn points each and every month. A new thing that Genevieve told us today was that when their subscription is on, you can even say something to the nature of like, hey, and guess what? You just earned $25 of free stuff. Why don't you go ahead and, log in and grab one of those actives or hydrates or whatever free sample you want so you can have it in the mail next month. So then they can pick their sample with the perks they've already earned, because that $25, we know usually it takes like the third month for them to get something, right? Well, you could go ahead and have them grab an extra sample versus you sending it. If you want to have them grab a free sample, and then maybe you pop something in other than a sample in the mail, like a Lego or something else that they might enjoy, or it's a gift card to a plant place that they love plants. You notice they like plants or whatever. Something that is the cherry on top. Okay. Do y'all have questions on the process on that at all yet? Okay. The other thing is that I am loving that Plexus is offering great things every single month, like Lululemon, Apple Watch, things like that. Those are the shiny things that are for people that like shiny things, right? But how much more impactful would it be if I'm like, Hannah, what if I showed you what it would look like if you kept 10 customers, what that income would look like? Wouldn't that be a little bit better than a Lululemon that, yeah, she might have the Lululemon for, a hot minute, but then next month she has 0 customers because we didn't do all of those processes with her because she just wanted the Lululemon. It was shiny, right? And so if we're allowing and teaching people that, well, guess what? If you sign 10 customers, you're going to get the Lululemon, but you're also going to get $400, $500 or more by having all of those customers continue and I think that's another thing we need to get knowledge from, is that knowing that having more customers that are willing to stay is better than the shiny things. And offering the business. I think that's another thing. I had an analogy, what was it, today or yesterday? I can't remember. But the fact that, when you have let me figure out it just went away. Oh my gosh. It'll come back in a minute. It'll come back. But it was more of the fact that like, you want to be able to keep employees. Oh, that was it. So when I have a business, I'm not just going to have people, if I'm Chick-fil-A, right? I'm the manager of Chick-fil-A and I have employees come in, right? But if I don't have employees come in, who's handing out all the Chick-fil-A, right? So we have to, in this business, have employees come alongside of us so that we can offer this product, offer Plexus to people. And so if we're not offering the business aspect, you're going to be doing stuff on your own for a really, really long time. And so making sure you are doing business asks as often as you can. And that might just be as simple of like, Rachel, I see that you are loving your mail route, but I don't know if by chance you possibly could be looking for an extra stream of income. I see you as a great quality person that loves people. And I think this could be truly beneficial for you. Would you be open to hearing more about what I do and the income possibilities, right? Really diving into people and just leaving it. I don't know if it's for you, but would you be open to hearing what I am doing? Or would you be open, blah, blah, blah. Exactly What to Say book is huge. And I don't know where it's at right now. I have it. Oh, see, I have it. Literally, it's my Bible in a way for what this is. He has the other book study this month on exactly how to sell. And so I'm going to be getting that book here soon too. And I think that'll take you to the next step of really reaching out to people and feeling comfortable about that. Okay. Do y'all have questions on any of that really quick? Because now I want to dive into your intentions for this week for your business. And if you're willing to allow me to help you stay accountable to those things. So anybody? No questions on the gaps or pivotal, how to sign people up or where to find things? None of that?
No, I was going to say one of the things that just kind of popped into my head, because I do talk to people a lot about pivotal, but I wish there was a way to get them more intrigued by it. I mean, it seems amazing to me, and most people who go and look at it and stuff, it is, but yeah, so I don't know. But
and I think it's more of us selling it more, and the fact that they hired a top fitness trainer and they hired a top guru nutritionalist. And so those are huge. And be like, I know people pay, I mean, it's Beachbody, literally, people are paying Beachbody for their workouts and meal prep stuff. People are doing Optavia or whatever for the meal stuff. And here we are providing that with their subscriptions. And so a lot of it is just sharing when we're posting and things. And I did this probably last week, like, man, I love that it's making this super mom simple that I don't even have to think about what I need to cook this week. Now, did I make those meals last week? No, I didn't get a chance, but I love the fact that they're there, that I can be able to have on hand if I need them. If I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm going to cook today or tomorrow, I can pop up that list really quick and then go buy it. And so the fact that it's simple and it comes with a grocery list, things like that is what are great to post. And the same with the workout, like, oh my gosh, we're stuck in the house with ice and snow. I like that I can actually turn on my Pivotal and do quick workouts from home. Anybody else like, and you might do a poll, like, who loves workouts from home or who likes to actually go to the gym or who likes an option of both? Like do a poll on that and intrigue people. Brittany Howard's podcast, I just posted it in our thread today. I am loving that because she talks about posting, and that when we post, we need to not just post, but post about how we can influence somebody else on what we have to offer. Not like, hey, here's, me and my husband's on a date night. And she said, no, like, talk more. Like, what did you love about those places? Or what are your top 3 places that you love to eat for your date nights? Or talk about how you're grateful to have date nights now because of the income Plexus provides, and things that are influencing other people when you post, not just, hey, here's my cool sweater, like nothing else about it. That podcast I had to stop listening to because I was driving and I want to go back and take notes because it could truly help every single brand new person that you have on your team right now with posting, with sharing, everything. That just makes it simple. So if you have not listened to it, I highly recommend tabbing it like I have for a week and listen to it. Okay. Really quick. So this month I wrote down, I didn't have everybody's goals, like point goals for this month. We had really good intentions and I'm loving the intentions. And I'm going to go back to those. I have those written out. So I know Jerisa's not on here, and Jennifer and Cindy, but I got theirs. And then Rachel, what are, and this is okay for permission. I know Shauna, I'm helping her with Go Silver this month. Honestly, we're really trying to help her go silver by the end of the week. And that's by having a very intense conversation and follow up. She's got the people. We're following up like crazy. And my goal is to help her get her 3rd person, like all 3 by this weekend. And that's just to silver. I would love to help her go senior silver by the end of the month, but we're doing, again, like I said, week by week, because small wins are better than bigger ones, right? You have to lead up to those bigger ones. And if you have this big immaculate goal and you're like, oh, I'm going to go diamond by the end of the year, but I'm not breaking down how to go diamond week by week, it's not going to happen. You're going to keep pushing it month to month and be like, it just didn't happen this month. And it's because we aren't setting intentions for daily activity. So if I have your permission, I would love to be able to really hold you to those goals this month, but also this week. So what does that look like for you guys this week that you're going to do for your business to help you get to your point goal at the end of the month? I would love to hear. And I'm going to pull everybody's up really quick. Does that make sense?
By the end of the week or the end of the month?
So like, for instance, I had you down for Ruby this month, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So if you want Ruby by the end of the month, you're going to calculate how many days we have left and how many points you need. And then we're going to be like, okay, well, I need to sign or help people, or I need to help my team sign 10 people this week by Friday, or you know what I mean? We're going to break those down into, because if your brain doesn't think of it, if we go to convention, this is a great example for a lot of you other than Shauna, but Shauna could understand a little bit. If we go to convention and there's no schedule, where does our brains go? Like mush, right? It's like, well, how do we show up later? What's next and what's going on? Our brains need something to look forward to. And it also needs that next step so that we can then create action for it. So for instance, if I know, winter's dinner is happening, I know I need to get an outfit. I know I need to know that I'm going to be eating nice food there. I know that I'm going to get to bring a guest. I have those action steps and that are provided. And so that's kind of us, as we're breaking down all of those little things so that your brain knows where you're going next. That's what we need. That's what we've got to do this week. So if you're going Ruby, look at where your points are now. Oh, you've already got it. Okay.
So I technically need 6 new orders a day.
Okay. So 6 orders a day. So let's say by today's Tuesday, Friday.
And that obviously doesn't include any of my subs, which
correct. So the other thing that you could do, if you need 6 per day, break that down a little bit more. Who do you have that you're working with to help go silver? Because those will add up. And then you can say, I know that we will have Brian's 3 people by the end of the week. Things of that nature. No worries, Rachel, we'll be here. She said, I'll be right back. She probably has to pee like I do every 5 minutes. So like, for instance, I'm helping 4 people go silver right now. My goal is to help at least 2 of them go silver by Friday. That's just my intention. I'm going to be following up. I'm going to help them with follow-ups. I'm going to make sure that we can try to help get them, silver by the end of the week. That's my intention. And that might be like checking in, like, hey, Shauna, how's that follow-up? Do you need me to help you with some wording? I can help you with some wording. Or maybe I'm in that 3-way and I'm like, don't worry, I've got this. I want to show you kind of how it looks. And I'm like, hey, Brandy, how was your Valentine's today? I wanted to check back in with you. I hope you had a great day. It's starting conversation when it got cold. And so I know for me to be able to help Shauna go silver, I've got to help those intention steps. So my brain knows like, oh, my brain needs to go help Shauna with those follow-ups. Okay. So then those follow-ups will help grab her those signups, and then the signups will help her go silver by the end of the week. So
that makes sense. Yeah. So I have my thread that has all of my, well, not all of my new people, but multiple of my new people who are interested in sharing.
Right.
And so I have an intention of every day this week giving them small tasks of things to kind of grow their business. And today, one of those was to share another post, and tomorrow they'll do reach outs. At least that's what my intention is.
Yeah.
So that is my intention for that. And then I still plan to keep doing my winning day every day. And then I have 1 to 3 business reach outs a day.
Okay.
So that is my intention for myself.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you want from me?
The question now is, and this is kind of follow up with your thread, when you're posting those things, are you then reaching out personally and saying, hey, Brian, I wanted to see how's that task going today? Did you get that task going? Or, hey, da-da-da-da.
No, I'm not, but I guess I should.
Yeah,
so I will.
It was something that I started doing once I created my thread too, so that I can, because sometimes people get overwhelmed when there's a new task and they haven't gotten to the last task. And so I've noticed it's gotten not quiet, but quiet. And I'm like, okay, Feather, how's things going? Are everything okay? Did you get the last task done? How is that moving along? And so I was able to follow up with her privately, because in our thread, she might not have voiced what's going on in that thread. Does that make sense? So that's another thing, is when you're noticing, having personal conversations are really going to help move that needle as well. So that could be another intention for this week, like following through on each person and really knowing where each person, if they have 2 people or 3 people or whatever. So you're like, okay, I know by the end of the week, because of the conversations I've been having, that I will sign at least 6 people on our team, da, 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 da. Let's see. Genevieve talked about, remember we talked about a while back on an airplane when you have a captain come on and he's like, hey guys, I'm really hoping we're going to make it to Hawaii. Like, we're going to be flying over this ocean, and I pray that this plane's going to make it. I feel like it's going to be okay, but I just don't know. We're just going to try, right? And I think that's another problem in our business, is a lot of our times we're like, I'm just going to try, just really going to try to hit gold. I'm just going to really try to hit ruby, or I'm just going to really try to hit emerald, or whatever that looks like. Instead of knowing for a fact, like, nope, I've got my checklist. I'm going to be doing my winning day. I'm going to be making sure that the flight, the gas is in there. I'm waking, you know what I mean? Like, you know, for a fact, you're going to hit that destination. Not, I'm just going to try. I'm just going to try. And I thought that was powerful to bring that back up on the airplane analogy, because I thought the same thing. Like, I would hate to be on that plane and not know, or even if it was a doctor operating on me, that's like, I'm just going to try to do a hysterectomy on you, or I'm just going to try to clear out those cysts. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're just going to try. And it was a great reminder of the fact that if we can try in our business, or we could really put intention in our business. And those are 2 different words. So, okay. Anybody else on goals for this week? We can break those down and then point goals for the end of the month, so that we know how to then accumulate and like squish those.
I never know what's like too little of a goal or too big of a goal. And then I get overwhelmed if it's too much. So I don't know where to go with that.
And that's okay. I mean, we all have hit that overwhelm, like all of us, right? Like, we all get into that because we see this, and then we see all the work that needs to be done to lead to this, right? And so we're like, that's overwhelmed. I'm just going to make it so small that I don't tap into that. And I think we keep lowering the bar for ourselves when we really know that God can provide. We just have to put in that little bit of effort and write down our overwhelm. You know, that's another thing, is that we as leaders tend to bring people just like us, right? And so I know when I first started this business, I was in huge overwhelm that I had to learn from Mel Robbins, one of the best, on how to tackle overwhelm in a very healthy manner. And so for like you, Rachel, a lot of it could be like, okay, what's causing overwhelm right now? And writing those things down. Like, I feel like I've got to do all these things. Okay, well, what's the top one that can be done now? That's why I have so many tabs, you guys, because I've learned this process of like, I know I want to watch all these, but other expectations were higher first. And then I'll listen to these calls, or then I'll get to these, because they kind of lowered on my list because the other things became top priority first. So then that overwhelm doesn't kick in. Does that make sense? So for you, if you're like, I would love to hit gold, like, I don't know. I mean, what would your goal be for this month? Let's start there. What does that look like?
Well, on the last call I was on, we talked about how like Ruby by July, and now I'm kind of like, no, that's not going to happen. Hold on a second. We have a spider situation. I'll be back. I'm sorry. Go on to the next person. Will come back to me.
I'll hold that thought. I'll hold it. We've got this.
Go be super mom.
Yep. Okay. She said Ruby by July, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Hannah, I would write that down for Rachel somewhere, so you can stay accountable to that too. And then the best thing to do, Hannah, is to really break that down for her and be like, okay, you've got to hit these points by this month if you want to hit Ruby by July.
Hey, Robert. I hope you guys are both having great.
I muted her. And so anyway, so breaking that down by month and then really breaking it down by week, like this week. So this week we've got to do this, Rachel, and da, 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 da. So Hannah, what you can do right now is look where she was last month, and we can start breaking those things down. And so that she doesn't get into overwhelm, but make it so simple that she's like, okay, I need to find 3 silvers this month to be able to get XYZ, July or Ruby by July. Hopefully she's getting that spider.
Sorry about that.
No, you're okay. I was like, I'm just going to mute you so you can keep going. So good. Okay, Julia, really quick, since Ruby by the end of the month, you said 6 per day, right? So we can break that down even more of what does that look like for you to get 6 orders a day then? Besides your thread.
Great question.
Well, and so here's the thing, the thread is great. Like, that's one great intention.
Yeah.
So it could be, well, I know I have 5 people in there and I really believe that 2 of those are going to go silver this week or whatever. So it might be, I'm going to be following up with every single person on the side as well in this thread. I'm going to be, reaching out to a business, like you said, you already have the intention of doing a business reach out every single day too. So those things. I think you're right on task, but it's really also like, okay, I need to have these private conversations as well to really see how their follow-up is, because brand new people don't know they just don't know how to do what we do. Right. So it's really like, okay, Shauna, let's look at these conversations. What was your last conversation with Hannah? What did that look like? Maybe let's figure out a new wording for that. So really breaking down those conversations too. That could be huge.
So I have my gold thread too with Jennifer and Jerisa in there, and they both have been doing really good. They've been doing really good with the small tasks thing. That is something that's been really helpful to them. So I know that they're very excited about that. So I'm really hoping, they seem to be having some really good conversations and connections with people. So I'm really hoping that will help to get them back on track with their goals too. Mm-hmm. So that will help. I know Jerisa had intentions to get on tonight, but texted me and said she wasn't going to make it. So I don't know what happened with that.
But I want to stop you really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Don't we all love small tasks when we know, like, okay, Cassie said do this, Julia said do this, I can do that. I can just do that one thing tonight. I can post XYZ. And so I think that is the one thing that all of us need to be doing and that's why I asked for everybody's intention, like what they're going to do every single day, so that you know what that task looks like. So go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that I know that both of their intentions, I know that Jennifer wants to get to gold. She doesn't have that intention, I think, for this month.
Right.
But that is like her intention. And I know that Jerisa wants to hit gold. Her and I have talked about shooting a little bit higher than that too. So hoping that will pan out for her with all the intentional conversations she's having. So,
and I think that's the difference that we're going to be doing in our business from now on, which is why I did the new thread, which is why I'm going to be holding everybody to a higher bar, because I've realized I had a scarcity mindset in the fact that I kept lowering the bar for us, because I thought if I push y'all too much, I'm going to lose everybody. I will be completely honest. I kept thinking, if I push y'all a little bit, I'm going to keep losing everybody. And I don't want that. But then I realized I had a scarcity mindset in the fact that if I pushed you to your goals, what you told me, and I keep lowering them, I'm not the leader that I need to be for you. And the best analogy is like I bring up Chick-fil-A because I like Chick-fil-A. But if I'm the Chick-fil-A manager and, this is not poking at anybody. You just guys are on here. I'm going to use your names. Okay. So if Rachel is showing up and, an hour late every day, and Hannah shows up 15 minutes early, and Julia is like, nah, I missed today. I'm so sorry. I'll come another day. Da, 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 right. And I keep allowing grace to happen. Oh, it's okay, Julia. It's okay, Hannah. Don't worry. It's okay, Rachel. It's fine. And I keep doing that every single month, when yet you told me, no, I'm going to do better, Cassie. I'm going to come in. I'm going to make sure I'm early. I'm going to make sure I have a smile on my face. I'm going to make sure that I have blah, blah, blah. Right. And I keep, oh, it's fine. Then the people that are showing up early, like Hannah or Shauna or whoever else, they're like, why am I working my butt off and nobody else, like all these other people aren't, they're not showing up, they're not doing this. And so then comparison happens because I'm not setting that bar for all of us. And so that's kind of where I've been feeling and felt led, especially I got confirmation last Wednesday. Stacy was there at church, and I pulled her aside because she was asking about the new thread and stuff. And I said, I just feel a new calling for our team. And the fact that I'm ready to be bolder for you guys and not keep lowering the bar for what you want and what God has called you to be. And so that's what I'm doing. You know, if you guys will allow me to, I'm not going to push. I mean, if you don't want it, that's totally fine. But for the ones that do, I'm going to have the bar here and I'm going to be like, okay, Hannah, you said that you wanted to do this. How's that going? And things of that nature. So Rachel, when you said, I don't feel like Ruby right now, it's because that bar you're lowering it already and it hasn't even happened, right? We're not even close to July. And so we've got to bring that bar back up and figure out, okay, what's causing that? And then what can I do now, though, to push that to help it happen? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what I was saying is on the last call, we, set all those goals, and I was to like reach that goal, I was supposed to have 2 silvers by the end of January. So here we are, middle of February, and nothing has really changed as far as points. And so I'm like, I've already failed. I've already failed at that. So that's where I am like, okay, so now what do I actually go for? Because I didn't hit that goal. So now what? So that's where I was coming from, is not that I don't want Ruby by July. It's just that my mind goes, well, you've already messed it up. So now where do I go from there as far as like what I should be hitting as far as those goals go? So when you ask like, what goals should I hit? I'm like, well, I don't know. I didn't hit that goal last month. So maybe I should like lower it down to like senior silver by the end of February. I don't know.
When I think it's taking a step back, what in January did you do? And that what could you have done more of in January that you felt like, you know what, I actually didn't do XYZ. So usually for me, again, like I told y'all and was honest with you guys, I had to take a step back in my leadership and be like, why is my team always here or lower? Like I'm not helping. I don't feel like I'm helping get them where they want to go and things. And I had to take a step back and be like, okay, Cassie, what can I do better? And so once I did that, I realized, I mean, it was just like night and day. I keep lowering the bar because I'm scared I'm going to lose everybody. And so it could be looking at your January and realizing what could I have done better in January that maybe I did not do, so that you can double that or do that for February. So what does that look like? What did you do in January? Like, let's really evaluate that. Tell me what you did in January.
I did some reach outs, stuff in my stories. I did post more than I had been.
Right.
With some new contacts, I did follow up with them, and they did tell me that right now it wasn't going to happen for them.
Right.
Which is a lot more than I had been doing prior to January.
Well, and I think the other, so what do you see now after talking that out that you felt like maybe you could have done more of in January?
Maybe just being more bold and like what I was sharing, not just like, oh, I got this cool plastic little organizer for my plexus, but like actually sharing more in depth, things about like the business, about the income, about the products, things like that.
Do you think you could do that this month?
I think that I can, and I think I have. Like the post that I did today, I think was a little bit more in depth of showing people like what the possibilities are.
Yep.
And I did one yesterday as well, the glow, and kind of talking about the incentives and things like that.
So
I think I can.
See, I think you can too. And I think that it's just the consistency now that people can start seeing. Listen to that podcast by Brittany Howard, because she really gives really great tips on posting, so that then you have ideas on how to post. Not that you aren't posting great. This is not that at all. This is more of, I mean, I got ideas from it, and I feel like I'm always learning how to post better. And so it was ideas of, maybe it's, I get to take Lydia out because my paycheck that I just got paid for 3 days early or whatever is allowing us to go XYZ. Or I love that I can buy Valentine's for her and be able to splurge a little bit more because of XYZ, things of that nature. And still bring up the business without bringing up the business a lot. So if you can do that, we will hold you to it. I would for sure do more business reach outs as well. Do you feel like you did business reach outs in January?
I did, but it was only like 3. So I'm sure I could do more.
Okay. How many do you think you could do more of?
I could probably easily do 2 to 3 a day.
Okay. Hannah, I have you write that one down. We're going to help her stay accountable. 2 to 3 a day. And so, but you already made a task now, because we know if you are the Chick-fil-A manager, you need employees. You can't just be always being the person that's serving all the chicken, right? We can serve chicken all day long, but you can't hold your business that way. And so the only way to do that is to have more employees. And the only way to do that is having those scary, bolder conversations about what we have to offer. And just like I said, that level 2 noticed what this offer could do for her and her family. And I had a 2-hour conversation with her today at the coffee shop. And it's because I post boldly about the business all the time. And so I encourage you, post about the business. It doesn't matter if you have $10 that Plex has paid you. Plex has paid you $10 you didn't have yesterday, right? So it's offering those things, or using my story or Julia's story or Hannah's story in a business post, because you're going to get there. You just haven't gotten there yet. And so, right now I'm hearing I could reach out more for the business. I could post more about the business. Is there one more thing that you felt like, you know what, I probably could have done this in January. Maybe that would have pushed me a little bit more to get those silvers?
Reach out to the ones I already have and see, like, have the 2-part conversation with them, because a lot of them, their main thing is they can't afford the products. It's not that they don't like the products, that's just
Right.
can't afford the products.
You read my mind. That was my next question, of how many conversations are you having about the 2-part conversation with your current people? And then here's the question though, for all of us. When somebody says, yes, Rachel, I would love to know more about the income. Now, what do you do next? Because I think that's another gap that we're losing.
I would agree with that. And I don't know the answer, like I don't know. See? Tell us, Cassie.
You're okay. It's okay. And I think that here's the thing. We have so much that it's gotten muddled, right? We're forgetting how simple it truly can be. And so, like, let's say, Rachel, you have Hannah's like, yeah, tell me about the income. Tell me more, right? You invite them to the very next thing. Plexus has something every single day now to invite them to. A Why Plexus to Why Now call, a Welcome to Plexus call. Those talk about the income, or you send them a recording. My favorite on our Faithinator page is, it's the daddy of all events. And in the comments, I have every single post and podcast, and which I need to put Brittany's now. Everything I've loved in the past year or two is in the comments. The last one that I thought just blew my socks off was when the OBGYN and, Sonia Dudley and all of them talked about the business. That business call was huge. And I'm already getting belief from other people just because of that call. So having them listen to a recording, then it is helping them post and helping them create a list to 3 to 10 people, right? I mean, that's just simple. And so I think that's the next thing, is inviting them to the next call, and then helping them with creating a post and creating a list, so that then you can start getting those conversations and three-way messages in, so that you can help them see the income. Because people don't want to see the comp plan. You send them the comp plan, you're going to overwhelm them, right? They don't need to know all the ranks, all the incentives, all the everything. They're going to tap out. It's more of like, okay, here's a call I absolutely loved. I would love to hear your takeaways on this call. And then let's make a list of 3 to 10 people that you would love to work alongside, or you would love to be in a car for, I don't know if there's any more. I think we used it all. Things of that nature. And that's simple, right? Super simple. So when you have, Rachel, when you start having these 2-part conversations, that's what you do.
So when you say get them on the next call, are you talking about like why Plexus, why now calls?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Because we're just wanting to build their belief. We want them to see what Plexus has to offer. I mean, think of it. When you watch a diamond documentary, what does it do? I know for me, when I watch a diamond documentary, it motivates me. It gives me more belief in what we have to offer. And if I'm feeling in a funk, that's the first thing I go do, is I look for a motivational call, or I watch a diamond documentary, because Satan's going to want you down here, and he's going to want you to keep lowering your bar. But when I watch those calls, God reminds me of everything I've been doing for 7 years, that I should, like, no, God has me up here. It's going to happen. And so you just have to watch those calls to build those beliefs back up. That's why it's important for us as leaders to attend not every single call, but as many calls as you can, because then your people are going to see you attending those calls. If you're not attending those calls, your team, like, you know what I mean? It's just going to trickle down. Think of it like a business too. Like, if you see your CEO of your company is never showing up, but yet you are, and they're like, go to this call, you've got to watch this call, you've got to da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, dude, you're not even doing it. They're not going to do it either. And so you have to make sure that you're that intentional leader as well. And it's like, oh my gosh, this takeaway on the glow that Genevieve, and I always forget his name, but I'm almost positive he's gay, but the French guy or whatever on Glow. Anyway, they just did a call recently, and they talked about Glow and how we can post about it and how we can share and things of that nature. That call was wonderful. And, even if I can't listen live sometimes, I always try to go back and I try to tell you guys, oh my gosh, that call was so great. I hope you guys have a few minutes to listen. They had great posts, or they had great stories you can share, or blah, 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 blah. So Rachel, the next step though, is instead of lowering your bar, we're not even there. You might not have hit it in January, but it's February, right? And so you just double it. If you're like, okay, well, I needed 2 silvers. Okay, well, now you need 4. That's okay, right? We can do 4 silvers, but you start with 1. And so it's looking in your back office. And after those 2-part conversations, it might be like, whoa, there's 3 people that, now wants a business, because you started those intentional relationships and you started that conversation with them. And you might find your 4 before you know it. So does that help?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Julia.
Question. So I've been listening to multiple different, whether it be one of the podcasts that you've suggested, or one of my health coaching ones, or whatever. And then when they're talking about establishing those relationships, they're talking about how you want to get out of the headspace of selling them anything. Like, you're looking at them as a human, but at the same time, you have to close them at some point, right?
Yeah.
And that's very hard for me to
differentiate.
Yeah. Like, so how do you stay focused on the relationship? I mean, and not necessarily look at them as a sell, but knowing you have to close that. Like, I'm struggling with that a little bit.
One, are these people you're reaching out to friends?
I mean, they're acquaintances or friends. Yes.
Yeah. I think the thing is we sell people every single day, right? Like, people are like, oh my gosh, where'd you get this? I'm like, dude, I got it at Sam's. She wasn't my friend because I just told her where to go buy it, right?
Yeah.
I had that conversation with her and she's still my friend. And so I think it's getting out of that space, that mindset of just going for it. Like, you don't, hey, Julia, I don't know if this is for you or not, but I feel led to have this conversation with you. I feel led to, ask. I see you've talked about you struggling with bloating or blah, blah, blah. I don't know if this could be for you or not, but would you be open to hearing some recommendations that have helped me? So it's not so much a sell, but you're allowing the door to be open for them or not. Like they can sure, tell me more, or like, no, not right now. And you're like, no problem. Okay, great. How was your Valentine's Day? And you just keep that conversation going.
Okay.
Does that help some or no?
A little bit. What do you do once they say yes? And then you talk to them and then they're just like, okay, well, I'll think about it.
So usually it's an objection. Like, and this, he has a harsh one for that in here, a little bit harsh for me. And it's like, well, why do you say that? Why do you say that? Well,
what is there to think about?
What is there to think about? Exactly. And it's like, there could be different words you can say, right? Or it's like, hey, tell me a little bit more. What are you needing to think about? I want to make sure that I help cover. Again, don't go into a whole big thing we all can do, right? Like, hey, I just want to make sure that I'm helping you understand everything. What more do you need to think about? I want to make sure that I'm helping you understand or get you the results that you're looking for, or XYZ. And
I think that's, go ahead.
Okay. I think sometimes the conversation is cold because we give it back to them before we allow finishing the conversation first. Of like, oh, okay, no worries. If you want to think about it, that's totally fine. I'll just, whenever you're ready, right? Whenever you're ready, don't worry about it. Instead of setting a date and a time, like, okay, great. I know you need to think this over, but I want to make sure I'm covering everything. Like, what is it that you need to think about? Is there something I didn't cover for you that you aren't understanding? I would do that first. Like, no, I just need to XYZ, right? I need to talk to my husband, which usually is they're out, like, right. And there's a husband objection. If you look up objections on the Faithinator page, I have a whole thing on objections, and great wording that you can start using for objections. But usually it's because they don't have full belief in it. And so I send a diamond doc, or I send hey, no worries, I was in your same shoes. What if you watched this really quick and then to send me your takeaways tomorrow? Things like that. Usually it's a belief issue. You haven't sold them completely yet.
Right.
They're not ready yet. And so another conversation is I always have a date and a time. Okay, Julia, I know that I sent you this video and I'll check back in with you. What if I checked back in with you, gave you a few days? What about Friday? Would Friday be a good day to just follow back up with you and just see how you're doing on that? When you set a date and a time, it's just like when you have a date and a time for an appointment. You know what's coming. You know that person knows you're going to be right back into them on Friday or on Thursday or whatever.
So I think some of my issue that I'm struggling with is that I'm realizing I need to get more bold in talking to people. Like, in the sense of just being frank with them. And not that I don't care about them.
Right.
But I find myself thinking that I need to care less about if they like me and more about their health that they're not caring about. And that is something that I have had brought to my attention by myself through God's word and some other things that I've been seeing over the last few days. Cause I'm just like, I keep thinking, oh, I don't want to lose them as a friend, or I don't want to offend them. And I even read a scripture that talks about how, the words of a friend is stronger or is better than, and I'm just like, oh, that's true. Like, if these people are coming to me because they're interested, then why am I backing off of saying, you're not going to find anything better? This is what's going to help you. And you either going to do it or you're not. And so part of that, some people I think it's very harsh. And honestly, I think I'm just going to have to get used to that and be okay with it. Because, not to say that I want more people to do this, I do. But if people truly want to get better, they have to make movement, and people are making movement towards it. And so, like, I have a girl right now who is Sorry. My computer's about to die.
You're okay.
I have a friend right now who her thyroid is so huge and unhealthy that they're talking about needing to take it out. And I've been talking to her about getting her on Plexus for 3 months now, at least, maybe 4. And every time I approach her, she's like, "Oh, I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm doing okay." And this month, she did at least have an appointment, and some of her labs were better. And so I finally just sent her a message, and she's like, "I think I'm doing okay, but thank you." Because I asked her, I said, "Are you ready? I have a coupon you can use, and that'll save you some money." And she's like, "I think I'm doing okay, but thank you." And I said, "Can I ask you a question?" And she's like, "Sure, yeah, what's up?" And I said, "What exactly is it that you are doing, actively doing, to make sure you don't end up where you just came from?" Because I'm like, you keep saying you're getting better, and you're not getting better. You just are your baseline right now. And I'm like, what are you waiting on? Because otherwise they're going to want to take your thyroid, and you don't want that. So what are you going to do? Because I'm just so tired of waiting on people to be ready to feel better. And I'm like, I'm ready to help you feel better. I know everybody has to get to that point on their own, but I don't know.
Don't you love when people are more frank with you than going around the bush and lying?
Yes.
And I think that that's something we all can do, better at, of like literally telling people. I would much rather, when I'm at a gym and I'm hired a trainer to tell me how to work out and how to eat, to not be like, "Oh, it's okay, you can totally have cake today, it's fine," versus saying, "No, you told me that you had these goals. Why are you putting cake in your mouth, Cassie? What's going on?"
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
You have to do a 30 more minute workout tomorrow because of that. Like, I hired a coach for that reason. And so they hired you as a friend in that way to be able to tell them
Yeah.
the truth. I would much rather all of y'all tell me the truth than be like, "Oh my gosh, Cassie is making us blah, 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 and whatever," right? I would rather you come to me, all of us would, right? Than to not have somebody just tell you like it is. And that's in all of our conversations. So hopefully that helps you know that, when you are, it's like, no, they literally hired me as their friend or they still wouldn't be around. So I need to just tell them frankly.
You can also say, "Oh, well, my friend Hannah thought she was doing so much better, but it wasn't. She really feels so much better," or whatever, and put me in a message. Because I did there when I started having medicine. When I didn't have a functioning thyroid and didn't even realize it, and then I got on medicine, I'm like, "Oh, I'm feeling so much better." But now doing it on its own, I mean, I can attest it's night and day difference than relying on the medication, just in how I feel.
Yeah. And I know, I mean, she's tried the active before, and just the active. I mean, she hasn't tried the other stuff before, but she's like, "Oh, that's really good. That I could really tell that helped me." And I'm like, "I know, girl." I'm like, "I'm telling you, like, that's just like the tip of the iceberg of you feeling better." And it's just like, I don't know if, I don't know if people just need more assertiveness in their lives, of people telling them what to do, because I feel like if they don't have that, they tend to talk themselves out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all do it. We all do it. We lower the bar. We talk ourselves out of our goals. We talk ourselves out of reaching out. Because we're worried about other people.
Yeah.
I mean, look at our world. We need more assertiveness. I could go on a whole thing with that, right? And so we just have to bring it back to them. She just doesn't have her belief. And it might be like, I mean, when people come to me and they're like, "I'm just going to go for a hysterectomy, I think it's going to help me." I would have, if I told that to somebody, I wish somebody would have told me back then, like, "Cassie, you can't ever go back on a hysterectomy. What if you gave it 3 to 6 months to actually work? And if it doesn't work, then you can go to your hysterectomy. Then you can have the XYZ. Then you can do that. But why don't you try this first? Because you can always go do the other."
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, thankfully, I didn't, because I knew deep down I never wanted a hysterectomy, but I wish somebody was more stern with me in a very nice way about Plexus sooner. And I probably would have done it sooner, but. Okay. It is already 10:05. We are literally almost at an hour. I did not get to do everybody's intentions for today and for this week. And so please post that in our thread. Shauna, I've already got yours. We're working on silver by the end of this week. You didn't know that, but I knew that. And so I'm going to be helping you do that. She's got several conversations, you guys, several. The girl is a beast.
Way to go, Shauna.
A beast. You guys, she works full time. I'm shouting her out right now. She works full time and she's on almost every Plexus call. I'm like, she already knows where to find them. And she already knows like everything. And I'm like, what? So way to go, Shauna. I'm proud of you. And no, like a lot of people don't do that right off. You are a diamond in the rough, my friend. And so keep doing it. You are doing all the right things and we're going to help you go silver by the end of the week. So for everybody else, just know, what does your intentions look like? Like really stay true to what you said in the thread of like, every night I'm doing XYZ, non-negotiable every night. Don't lower the bar. If you've already set that, keep that bar so that, you know, every night Cassie's going to check in with me the next morning to say, did I do my business reach out? Cause I will, like, I'm going to write them down and on my board is white now. I cleared it so I can write everybody's stuff down and I can be intentional on relationships with you guys. And be like, okay, Hannah, you said you're going to be reaching out to 2 people a night, you know, about the business. How is that going? And, you know, whatever. And you're like, well, I'm so sorry. This happened, blah, blah. Okay. So what are you going to do tomorrow? Like, what is that going to look like tomorrow? You know, and go through that. Cause we all have stuff that happens, all of us, every single person, but every single night we still can do our non-negotiables before our head hits the pillow. Like we really could. If you set it to where I'm just going to be doing two or three reach outs or whatever, we all can do that. So, okay. So tonight you think about that, really write down where you need to be by the end of the week, to hit your goal by the end of the month and what that next step every single day is going to look like. And so Rachel, you've already got some of yours. So everybody else, and Julia, you too. So Hannah and Shauna, everybody else that's watching the recording later, really set those intentions and stop lowering the bar for yourself, because you are setting yourself up to not hitting your goals for another year when you keep lowering that bar every single month. You're like, well, maybe it's just March now, or maybe it'll just be June or July, or maybe it'll be blah, blah, blah. Set what you're going to do every single day and really stick to it. So
I just want to tell Rachel real fast because I put in the comments, but your points were at 0 in October. So look at the growth you've had in these short few months. So when the enemy tries to wear you down or say, oh, I didn't do this or whatever, it's nonsense. Be gone. Shut up. Move on. Rachel's back. She's sticking with it this time and she's going forward and she's going up. So I am so incredibly proud of you. And you're coming to the calls, you're doing your things. I'm proud of you. Keep rocking it out.
I love seeing you, Rachel.
I agree. I mean, think of it, because you did intentional stuff in January. Look what happened. Mm-hmm. So imagine what you can do for February. Because right now, Satan is like, well, you didn't get your silvers, when yet Hannah pointed out, look, you went from 0 to 17. That's huge. And so really focus on those things and focus on, okay, well, I did do something last month, but now I need to double it. Like, well, now I need to show Satan that he can shove it and X, Y, whatever. Because I've already showed up and I'm showing up to calls. I'm doing X, Y, Z, and it's proving true, even when I'm posting and nobody's reaching out or whatever, that I'm planting seeds and they are coming around. So proud of you. I'm proud of all of y'all for showing up, for, rocking and really getting into 2023, like really wanting more for your life, more for your business, more for your family. So keep reaching out to people, because I promise you, people like Shauna is going to need this opportunity. There's a lot of people out there that do. So, okay. Love y'all. Cannot wait to see your stuff in the thread. So bye.
Bye.